In Alaska, when we see this, not just terminal dust, but snow sitting on these peaks, we know one thing: winter is coming. And I get so excited about winter when all this white stuff I know that's up there is going to be all over here. And with the low winds we get in this region, when it gets big snowflakes, it just comes falling down in such a special way. And why does that make me so excited as a wildlife photographer for winter is coming? Well, this. Just incredible, the things you can get in winter. And I believe it's one of the most underrated times to come to Alaska. So let's talk about it. For wildlife photography, winter in Alaska to me is my favorite time to shoot. I believe that the images are just something magical. And most people, when they come to Alaska, they come spring, summer, and maybe fall, and they're after the bears and the migrating birds, which is all wonderful because it is one of the most incredible places to see grizzly bears, coastal brown bears. It's just incredible. Kodiak, Katmai, the Kenai Peninsula, the interior, in Denali, you can find some amazing bears and some of the best breeding grounds for migrating birds. But winter, to me, is just so much better, and it's so underrated for people to come visit Alaska to shoot wildlife, and probably more of you should, and we'll talk about that through this video. The first thing that makes wildlife photography for me so special in the winter is just the snow itself, shooting high key images with the animal being able to pop more and to mask different parts of your scene. If you may have something behind it you don't like, it's fine, because with the way the snow falls and with your high key, you can blow that background subject out better to isolate your animal, to give it more of a dreamy, beautiful picture, kind of like these right here. You can create fog effects. You can create, like I said, that blowout behind it just makes it so incredible with the shots you can get. Just incredible. Another reason I love wildlife photography in the winter is actually just finding the animals. What you'll see is all the trees that have leaves have lost their leaves. And then as the snow comes, it beats down all that tall grass and brush. And you can actually see through the brush better to see if you can find a fox or a coyote, a wolf, a moose, any of that type stuff. You can see it better. And then owls, so it makes it even better. The owls start coming out in winter to roost and set up their nest and get their nesting grounds, so it's much easier to find great gray owls. Short-eared owls love to hunt that time of year for voles. They move into areas more open because the snow is easier to see, and you can find those type of owls much easier. On top of that, as we get right before winter, we get the moose rut. But after that, right in the beginning of winter, we get the Dall sheep rutting. And they come down closer to the highway and to the Turnagain Arms. We start seeing these nice big full coral rams start moving down. And when we get those good winter storms through there around that area, you get some incredible shots, like when I got this big doll ram jumping across a crevice, or when the wind rips around the mountains and the snow, or just the doll sheep do their hero poses on top of the hills. But it's the time when they start mingling with the ewes, they start chasing each other, and it's just an incredible time. Through November to December, you start seeing that. Just, I love it. Winter is just so cool in Alaska. And then on top of that, you've got another great thing, sea otters. So the sea otters have their pups. They can have them any time of the year, but they tend to have them more between like late October through March. So all winter you can go down along the docks or along the coast and you can find baby otters. It's just a great time. And then all these otters start rafting up and kind of coming up closer into the shores and the tidal areas around the docks and the bays even. And there'll just be hundreds of them in there just rafting up together and floating and hanging out where the pups are around. It just makes for an incredible time. And then we have our winter birds that still hang around, the rock sandpipers, things like that. And if you can catch ice floes in the water, just incredible. Last year, that's what we had. We had rock sandpipers who had a lot of ice down in Homer. And these sandpipers were up on top of the ice, and it just made for an incredible time of photography. Another great thing about Alaska in the winter is the trumpeter swans. These guys don't leave, they don't go south, they just go to more open water. And you can catch them along the rivers and the lakes that have open water where the rivers enter the lake. And most of those areas are going to hold trumpeter swans. And what makes it really nice along the Kenai River in the winter is the water from the glaciers in the river, everything is a little bit turquoise green. And when the wind blows, it makes it look ice blue or turquoise green, depends on which way the wind is and the light is. Just again, just incredible time of just photography. I'll spend days and days photographing these swans. The rest of the year, I'm not real excited about the swans, but in winter, that's one of my favorite things to go do is go find these swans. And then the other thing closer into town, closer into the Anchorage Bowl area, is foxes and river otters. The river otters are even easier to find this time of year, usually because what you're looking for is either spots in the pond where maybe somebody was ice fishing, or cracks where, again, where the creek comes in that keeps the water open, that keeps part of the lakes or the ponds open. And all you gotta do is keep hitting those areas, and eventually you'll run across river otters around the Anchorage Bowl area. And just again, makes for incredible photography. And then you have those stretch goal subjects of caribou or things like that, wolverines, that kind of things. They're a little harder to get to, a little harder to find, but when you do, you can take incredible images. But Alaska in the winter, like I said, is just a time that I believe a lot of people don't come visit because they're worried about the snow, can I get around, and things like that. But the reality is the roads are very good here, and most of your rental vehicles or four-wheel drives are going to get around well. When you're driving on snow, now if you're driving on ice, it's a different thing, but most of this stuff is fresh powder and snow, so it's like driving on dirt or a gravel road. So it makes it a lot easier to drive, but be safe, and you've got people that actually will take you around for photo tours and things like that too. So don't be afraid of coming to Alaska in the winter to do photography. It's just something super special. And one of the last things about wildlife photography, or just photography in general in the winter, is the trees and the snow. They look like something from a Doctor Who novel, as the snow causes the tops of the trees to fall over. It just looks incredible. And then you've got the aurora. Since we have more dark this time of year, we get aurora. And this year and the next year should be some of the best auroras we have for quite a while. We're going to the solar maximum. So you can get incredible scenes just like this. Chasing the aurora, after you've done it the first time you've seen a good show, it's addictive. It's something you can't get out of your head to go see again. It's just incredible. And I'm sure a lot of you, it's a bucket list item. And if you do come to the cold or the Arctic North or Alaska or Canada or more northern United States across, there's tons of snow areas too, also to go visit. And when you do, remember about your cold weather stuff. And I've got 2 videos that talk just about that, about how to stay warm in the cold, how to gear yourself up, and what type of photography gear you need for getting out into the cold and the white and snow. And another video about how to shoot in those conditions also. So if you are going to go to those places, or you're thinking about going to them or coming to Alaska, go watch those 2 videos. They'll help you a lot. And for myself, I'm doing just that. I'm starting to dig out all my cold weather stuff. I'm getting my big hand warmers, getting my gloves, finding all my stocking caps, finding all my base layers and all those things to start shooting in that snow. And actually here this week or this coming weekend, we're supposed to start getting snow here. And I couldn't be more excited. And as always, guys, like, subscribe to the channel, helps us grow and all those things. And until next time, get outside and go run that shutter.